if you're watching the playback, hello to you on the playback. Great that you're able to get some inspiration and ideas tonight. I would love to hear from you guys before we start. Why are you here? What do you want from your time with us this evening? Pop it in the chat box. Tell us. Is there anything that is really burning or on top for you? If you are not a Thermomix owner yet, if you're curious, or if you've had your Thermomix for a wee while, anything keto or low carb specific, and the team and I will do our best to answer any of those questions and make sure that you leave here tonight getting what you came here for. We'll try our best. It is keto and low carb themed tonight, which is pretty exciting. I've done keto in the past, and I know that we've got a few team members here who have also experience with keto. Little disclaimer, we're not dietitians, we're not health professionals, but we do know our Thermomixes, and we know how that it can support this lifestyle choice and this plan of eating. So we're going to be sharing lots of tips and tricks. We've got a fabulous menu. The team will introduce the recipes that they're going to be cooking, and we'll have some fun together. So yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. It is fabulous. I am working on one screen tonight, so just a little heads up. Permission to be a bit clunky because I have to move boxes to get to things behind screens, and so yeah, I'll try my best to get all that information up onto the chat screen. When the team are cooking, I will pop the recipe in the chat box as well, so that you're able to click on those links and save them into your cookie dough, and then we'll have a little bit of a dive into cookie dough itself, so that you can see where you can find some more ideas and inspiration for keto and low carb recipes. So yeah, let's crack into it. We are going to whiz on over to Cynthia's kitchen. So I'll bring Cynthia up in the big screen there. We'll replace that spotlight. Over to you, Cynthia.
Hi, welcome to my kitchen. Tonight I've got the pleasure of making the gluten and grain-free bread rolls. So this is not one that I'd tried before, and I was a little bit nervous actually about using it because it's got it works a little bit differently when you're not using things with gluten in. So I did have a trial run earlier this week, and they taste amazing. So we'll just kick on in and get started. So I've just got this up on cookie dough, and I've had my oven on for quite some time now, heating up at 180 degrees. Not fan bake. It likes the classic standard bake for this one. Line your baking tray. Well, I've got my Mix Shop Rose Gold tray and my baking tray liner, which are fabulous accessories that are available in the Mix Shop. And we're going to start with 300 grams of raw almonds. So I've just got my almonds here, and I've tiered my scales, and we're after 300 grams. There we go. And then 50 grams of psyllium husk. So this is available in, you can get it in the supermarket now, I think. So 50 grams of psyllium. And I haven't quite got enough in there. So I've got some more here, and I'm really, to keep it nice and fresh, I keep the silicone sachet in there. And I've also got a little note on my thing saying that there is a silicone sachet in the container, so keep an eye out for it when you're using it. Lee will be able to give some more clarity to that shortly.
Yes, so I was at a demo and I made cheese puffs, and the little psyllium packet went into our cheese puffs and got chopped up. So great tip, love that, Cynthia.
I've made a terrible mess here, Lee. Going to get my trusty little pack out and tidy that up. I missed the container. Available in the Mix Shop, but also a gift with purchase with your machine at the moment. So 50 grams of psyllium husk, so that's there. And we're just going to pop the lid on. And speed 9 for 10 seconds. This is going to be very loud. It might just mute, but in my kitchen, it's really loud. So it won't be a second. You could hear the sound, how that changed, maybe if it didn't go silent.
It did cut you off, Cynthia.
Okay.
We couldn't hear it.
So that is what it's done to my 300 grams of almonds. And we're just going to add 3 teaspoons of baking powder, which I have measured. A teaspoon of sea salt, maybe. And then we're going to pop the lid on. And it's just going to use the turbo action, and we're going to do that 4 times for half a second.
Has anybody used the turbo function? What have you used it for? Pop in the chat box.
You do when you're using the turbo function, it locks the bowl in and you can't take it, it won't release it until you've moved on to the next step. So just a word of warning. So you can see it's mixed that up really nicely. And we're just going to add 5 egg whites. So I've got my egg whites here. I've actually got 4 because I had jumbo eggs and I had double yolkers. So I've just used 4 egg whites. And I'd love to know what people suggest that maybe I should use my egg yolks for. So you might like to pop that in the chat box too. And 45 grams of apple cider vinegar. And then we're just going to pop the cup in and knead that for 20 seconds. What have we got in the chat for egg yolks? Anything?
Bronnie said cooked mayo.
Yeah. The other thing is hollandaise. So hollandaise is use the yolks rather than the whole egg. So that's quite a good option. I usually make the hollandaise and go, oh, what am I going to do with my egg whites? So now I know what to do with them. So 375 grams of boiling water. So I've just boiled this in my jug, but you can boil it if you have the luxury of more than one Thermomix. You can boil it in your Thermomix. So 375 grams.
Cynthia, we've had a good question from Susie. She's saying, how do you separate your double yolk eggs? Hers often break. Any tips there?
Well, funny you should say that, because when I did the dummy run, they broke. But today's ones, they all stayed intact. I'm not sure. I usually just crack them into a bowl and scoop them out with my hands. So, but I'm open to suggestions. Luckily with this recipe, it doesn't actually matter if you get a little bit of egg yolk in there, and I just carried on with the recipe hoping it would work last time. So that is how I did that. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure how you would manage that with a recipe that can't have yolk in. We're just going to do a 1 minute knead now.
Love that. What you can also do is use the lid of your Thermomix. So if you crack your eggs in and leave the measuring cup, there's a small gap where the measuring cup sits in, and the egg whites will run down into the bowl and the yolks will sit in the tray of the lid there. So you could try that one next time you need to separate your eggs, and that's double yolkers or otherwise. So it's a really good way to do it if you're feeling confident. So using that kneading function, and I love that it's doing all the work for you there, Cynthia.
Yeah, it certainly takes the action out. I love this function on the machine. I would recommend not walking away from it though when it's kneading. You really need to be within arm's reach, because some kneading functions go for a little bit longer and you've got a lot more solid mix in there, and it does sometimes go for a walk on some benches, so you need to be really aware of that. So the dough will be sticky, but workable. So it's suggesting to do 12 equal pieces. So the bowl's quite hot because of the boiling water, and that is how it's come out. So I am just going to form those into bread rolls. The recipe, it actually comes off, it slides around, and it's a really nice texture. I hate getting dirty hands, so I'm just going to pop some gloves on. And if you use wet hands, it is quite good for the forming the roll. So I'll just show you one or two, and then we can shoot over to somebody else. So
when I made these, Cynthia, I didn't even bother rolling them. I just put them on blobs and they baked beautifully. So there could be a speedy tip. Yeah, pop one as a blob and see what happens when it bakes. They actually bake beautifully.
I shall blob one then.
I'm all about cutting corners and saving time. Busy mom with any top tips to save more time?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I will carry on doing this, and it's supposed to make 12. I think I got 11 last time. I didn't quite have them consistently the same size. So up to you how big you make them. They're actually a reasonable size. So yeah, over to you, Lee.
Fantastic. Before we whiz on over to Sue's kitchen, we were talking about the dough and the kneading mode there, and that if you do have quite a slippery bench top, that it can go walkies. But Cynthia, you've actually got something under your Thermomix. Can you tell everyone tonight what you've got sitting there?
So I have got a glider board, and it means that you can move your machine in and out quite easily without having risking damaging your scales, but also it's if I can get it out, don't look too hard. It's got a couple of dots underneath where the feet sit, so it's really secure in there, and it won't walk off your bench as easily, and it shouldn't. Mine's never moved on that, so it's a lot safer on there. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm just going to whiz on over to Sue's kitchen. Hi, Sue.
Hi, welcome. So tonight I'm cooking a cauliflower. I've got to look at to read it. Flammkuchen. I think that's how you say it. I'm not 100% sure. Now I have prepared a couple of. It's like a pizza base, but made out of cauliflower and egg. So I prepared and cooked a couple of bases first, but I'll go through the process with you now. So each slice of this cauliflower Flammkuchen is actually only 4.4 grams of carb. So first of all, I've got some Parmesan cheese. So actually, I'm just halving the recipe because I used the other half this afternoon. Now, this is going to melt the cheese, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's finished. 10 seconds.
If you're following a low carb or keto diet, I know cauliflower is often a staple for things like pizzas, and it's not something you can easily buy in the supermarket. Has anyone ever seen cauliflower pizzas in the supermarket? We've got lots of traditional doughs, but not so much cauliflower. So this is a really great one as an alternative.
So there's the Parmesan cheese, all grated. It's amazing, really. And so the next step is the cauliflower. Now, I have already done this because I had to leave the cauliflower once it was beaten to steep for 20 minutes. So in order of time, here's the cauliflower here. Now, it only took a few seconds to get it into this consistency. And so now I have to get the moisture out of it.
So what did you do with the cauliflower to get it to that consistency? What was the process?
Okay, so I had to break it into smaller portions, florets, and then it took I think 5 seconds in the in the program. Now, just because we've got a guided cooking situation here, you can actually use it quite easily, this machine, with your own recipes and just using all the different functions. If you want to blend soup, if you've made your own soup and you just want to blend it, you can swap over into the modes. And there's chop functions, there's all sorts of functions now on the modes. I should actually just briefly can flop. Oh, you actually can't see on the screen, but all those modes are there to just be able to use it without having to do guided. Now, this is the cauliflower in here, so I'm just getting any excess. What I was really surprised about was how much liquid came out of the cauliflower.
And it's salted, isn't it, to help with that dehydration?
Yeah, it is. Oh, actually, yes, it is salted. You're right.
Yep. So that'll help draw the moisture out. Same if you're doing things with like zucchinis. If you want to get the moisture out and use zucchinis for your low carb cooking, because they're quite waterlogged. I wonder if you could use the cauliflower juice for something. Interesting. I'm all about saving. Yeah, less waste. Has anyone got any ideas for using the cauliflower squeezed goodness? Throw it in a smoothie, get a bit of the cauliflower in to your diet.
So I'll skip that because we've already done it. Actually, it was 8 seconds to do the cauliflower. I've done the baking tray and that's all done. So now I'm putting the cauliflower into the bowl.
We've got Philip has suggested putting it into your soup. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And then we've had a few ideas about putting it into smoothies. It might be a bit salty, but good for soup. Yeah, absolutely. Love that, Elisa.
I'm going to put the cheese in. And then I'm going to put an egg in. And that will just help bind it. Some pepper. So quick. That's what I found. So quick.
Hi, Mum.
Nutmeg.
Yep. Yeah. I'm just watching. I'm just watching a Thermomix Zoom meeting thing, but I can't hear anybody anyway, so they can't hear me.
Hi, Jeanette. We can hear you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put on mute. Love that about Zoom.
Now we're just mixing it for 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
Rochelle, yes, that's right. The carb, it is the net carb, so it's 4.4 from. I'll have a little look to confirm that one for you. So per serving, we're doing 4 serves, and it's 4.4 grams of carbohydrates per serving. And we'll talk a little bit more about carb counting and net carb shortly. Keep the questions coming.
So it's quite a moist, because the egg is brought it all together, and then it goes into the oven. I make it into little pizzas, and then it goes in the oven. And I'm going to show you the 2 that I've done today. And so I'm going to put the toppings on now, and then they'll go under the grill for 10 minutes. So I don't know if you want to go somewhere else. Okay.
What are the toppings? What are you putting on the
Right.
flam kitchens?
True. So we've got bacon, red onion, the base of sour cream, spread first, and then some chives sprinkled on top. And
Delicious.
that's that. Yeah.
It's a real delicious recipe. I've made this one many times, especially my husband was doing keto, sort of more of a dirty, lazy keto. And this was a go-to for us often. I've even done them in the Ovana pizza oven, and they come out perfect. Really good way to do it. If you haven't seen that in the mix shop yet, you can do a traditional sort of bread dough pizza in about 90 seconds, and these cook literally, in no time. So super speedy. We'll leave you to put your toppings on and get those into the oven. We're going to put on over to Julia's kitchen. Yeah, I've just got to find Julia. Where is she? There she is. I'll just replace her. Thanks, Sue. Top job. Thank you. Over to you, Julia.
All right, guys. I'm doing keto shortbread cookies tonight. I've already milled my almonds. So I'll show you what it looks like. It was 170 grams worth of almonds, and I've milled it for 20 seconds on speed 10, and that's what it's like now. So it's already full of flour. There's flour. All right, so the first step is to preheat the oven. I've already done that, and the baking trays. And yes, I've done that almond flour. Now we add the, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Lee. Erythritol sweetener.
Erythritol, yep.
So I'm using the monk fruit, which is just the same, sort of.
And it does come down to personal taste. The erythritol can leave quite a cooling effect in the mouth, and it's almost like a menthol. When you eat something menthol and it gives you that kind of in the mouth. Well, yeah, erythritol can do that as well. So if you're not into that sort of sense in the mouth, then you can use other sweeteners, or your sweetener of choice. Allulose is another really good one, or monk fruit, like Julia's mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, so now I've added the salt was added in there as well. Now, so insert the measuring cup in the bowl. Mixing up. Right. Now it's asking to add 4 ounces of unsalted butter at room temperature. Oh, didn't hear it. Put the measuring cup and lid back on.
And I think it's worth mentioning here as well. If a recipe calls for unsalted butter, just check the other ingredients, because sometimes it asks for salt, and unsalted butter costs more than salted butter often. So just use your smarts, people. Buy the salted butter and don't put the salt in your recipe. Another little top tip for you there.
Right.
What did you use, Julia? Did you use salted or unsalted today?
Unsalted. Yeah. keep both in my fridge. So now I add the egg. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Right, insert the measuring cup and bowl again to mix for the last time. As easy as that. Now we're ready to roll them up and put them in the fridge for 20 minutes, 10 minutes. Oh, that's what it's like there.
It's quite a wet biscuit mix, isn't it?
And that's quite wet. Might grab a spoon.
It
Yeah,
goes into the fridge.
Yeah, it
20
goes
minutes.
into, yeah. So I'm going to start rolling those now.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's
We'll
quite
leave you to
good.
do some. Yeah, we'll leave you to get those onto the tray.
Yep.
And we'll whiz on over. Where are we heading next? I just need to have a little look at my run sheet here. We're whizzing on over to Jess's kitchen. Let's go find Jess.
Hi.
There you go. Hi,
I
Jess.
I hope I don't freeze. Please let me know if I need to camera off, camera on. Welcome everyone. My name is Jess and I'm zooming in from the Kapiti Coast tonight. And I'm going to show you one of my new favorite salads, and it's called no potato salad. And this one I think is a winner, whether you're doing keto or low carb or not. It's delicious. Tried it on 5-year-old and some nephews who are 5 and 8 as well, and they gobbled it all up. So it's definitely a winner in our house. So we're going to start cooking nice and easy. So first of all, we're going to place 400 grams of water into my jug here. What I love about the Thermomix is you don't have to have extra scales or anything, and you can just weigh straight in there. It's super easy. All right, next, I'm going to pop in my simmering basket. One great thing about this recipe is it's dual cooking at the same time. So we're going to pop in 4 eggs. Here they go, into the basket here. And then on top, I've actually already got it pre-weighed and cut up, is my cauliflower. So we're actually going to steam the cauliflower. So that's kind of the base for this recipe. And it's 350 grams of cauliflower. And the main thing is that they're cut into similar sizes and quite small. So 1 to 2 centimeter pieces, little sort of florets. And then that's going to cook. Now, the lid on for 13 minutes. And then you're going to come back to me and see the next steps.
Fantastic. What would everyone do with 13 minutes, not having to worry about if your eggs are boiling over or things are burning on the stovetop? If you've got a Thermomix, what do you do? What do you do with those cook times where you're not needed in the kitchen? Pop it in the chat, share with us. What do you do? Or what would you do if you haven't got a Thermomix yet?
Yeah,
love to hear.
So it's a lot of time. You can get all the dishes done. You can fold a bit of washing, get a bath ready, because you don't have to stand here either. It's so much safer.
So good, isn't it? Right, we're going to whiz on back to Julia's kitchen. She's just disappeared. She might still be rolling her biscuits. There she is. We're going to come on back to this, replace the spotlight there. You there, Julia? Oh, Helen's checking emails. Shari's standing around not knowing what to do with herself. Oh, Shari. Love that. When you first get a Thermomix, I know what I certainly did is I would stand there and I would watch every second and I would count down with the machine through the steps, every step it was doing, because I just wanted to watch the process. But now I'm not even at home sometimes when it's cooking. I'll put dinner in, it's doing its thing, and I'll drop the kids off at sport and come back, or walk the dog. Philippa's tidying up her kitchen and loading up the dishwasher. Checking emails from Helen, love it. Lots of people are tidying up their kitchen. Odd jobs, yeah, scrolling the phone or reading a book, love that. Hands free. Julia, are you there? Not sure if she's rolling biscuits still. You're on mute, Julia. Can't hear you. We could whiz over to Brody and he could make a start on his recipe and then come back to you for lemon curd.
Yeah, I'm just cleaning my bowl right now.
Perfect. All right, we'll whiz over to Brody and then come on back to you. Hi, Brody.
Hello, everyone. Let's see. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. I'm going to be making the lemon ginger morning elixir today. So we're going to be making. I'm doing the drink today. So I'll get that started. First thing we are doing is chucking in a lemon. So all I've done with this lemon is just cut the skins off it. So it's just the flesh from the inside. Chucking that in there. Next, it's asking me for 1/2 ounce of fresh turmeric. I don't have fresh turmeric, so I'm just using the powdered stuff. So I'm going to skip that step for now, and I'm going to add my powdered turmeric in when I add the water in at this stage. So chucking the lid on, and we're just going to prop up my lemon.
Fantastic. I absolutely love that. You know, cookie dough is just a guide and use what you have. You know, like Brody's saying, if you don't have something, just swap it out, substitute it. There might be an ingredient that your family or you don't even like as well. You can absolutely change it out. You're not bound to those recipes and those ingredients. I often have customers come to me and say, oh, I didn't have tomatoes to make that recipe. I'm like, well, just use a can of tomatoes if you've got them, or use some cherry tomatoes instead. Or, you know, if you don't have peas or you don't like peas, put some beans or broccoli instead. Like, make it your own. You can swap it out.
And that's the one. I'm adding in the water now, which is that. Oh, that's something I'm doing. This recipe is actually in the imperial system. So that's something cool about the Thermomix as well. When I start the recipe, it automatically changes my scales to the right through the imperial system for me. And I'm adding the turmeric in as well at this point. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add the lid on, and it's asking me for my simmering basket to go on the top, which I have got on, which is my drawer right here. I'll chuck that on, and all this is going to do is I'm going to start to bring my water up to pretty much almost to a boil and to bloom my turmeric. So that's going to take 8 minutes. I think I'm passing on to the next person and coming back to me.
Awesome. Thanks, Brody. I'm just going to find the right window. Oh, it's got screens and screens. Where are we? Oh, no, got to move that one. I just lost you all for a minute there. I'll see how Julia's going. She's been giving her bowl a bit of a wash out there. Welcome back, Julia. You're just on mute.
Yep, no, my little thing wasn't working. All right, now on to the lemon curd. I've got to say one thing about those biscuits is yesterday I did a trial run with coconut flour and it was absolute disastrous. So you need to use almond flour. Right. Let me show you. Putting it into the Thermomix now. Let me show you.
Julie's going to be doing a keto lemon curd, which is great, especially, you know, when you're doing a keto or low carb plan and you want something a little bit sweet. You know, the keto lemon curd is phenomenal for that because it's very versatile. It can be used in so many different ways.
Okay, so before the class started, I sterilized my jar with the aroma. So I don't know, that's so yeah, 20 minutes on aroma with the thing on top there. So it's all pretty prepared. Right, so we're adding one lemon, the zest. Very easy recipe, this one. Oh, shoot. Oh, I've had a bit of a disaster. I'll be back with Keto.
That's all right. We all have disasters in the kitchen sometimes, even with a Thermomix. Sometimes things can happen. I made orange juice once and I thought, oh yeah, it's just like lemonade. You know, you put the whole lemon in. Yeah, you don't do that with the orange juice. You have to peel your oranges. So I ended up with a big bowl of, you know, goopy, sludgy, orangey mess. It wasn't drinkable.
Yeah, I just got my sugar that I prepared. But here, so this is the sweetener I'm using here. It's monk fruit with the erythritol.
Erythritol, yeah. So great for all your biscuit making. Gives you that crispiness.
Yeah, and the vapor, I understood what Lee said. It is like a cooling menthol. There's the measuring cup. So we're going to mix this up now. I'll mull it up, sorry.
And monk fruit sweetener can be found in most supermarkets, quite readily available too. It was something that was more of a specialty item that you'd have to go to places like Common Sense Organics or Binin, whereas now it's quite readily available in the health foods aisle. Countdown seems to stock a lot of them. And there's some really great places online as well. I'll put a little plug in there for Low Carb Haven. That's a great one. If you're buying any specialty sweeteners or products online and you've got some great websites, share that in the chat box, like share with each other anywhere that you shop and get some of those specialty ingredients from. I'm not sure if Alicia's still on. I know she does a fair bit of online shopping for great ingredients.
So I've just mulled that sugar and the lemon rind. It's gone like that. Icing sugar. And we're now adding the butter. 40 grams of unsalted butter again. Right, so it's asking for 1 egg and 1 egg yolk. I've got both in here. And 60 grams of freshly squeezed lemon juice. All right. Now we're going to cook it at 80 degrees for 4 minutes and it's going to thicken all nicely. There we go.
Easy. And walk away. Love that. Hands-free heating and cooking.
Yep.
Top job, Julia. Doing a great job there. Thank you. We're going to whiz on back over to Jess's kitchen. I'm just going to find where she's at. Where are you, Jess?
I'm here. Here I am. I'm back. Okay, now because I'm surprisingly lucky, I've actually got another Thermomix behind me, and that is doing the varomering for our eggs and our cauliflower just now. So I'm going to make you a super quick mayonnaise. Now I'm going to do the cooked mayonnaise. This is an absolute favorite in our place. And I make it, I don't want to tell you how many times I make it, but it's quite often because we do like our mayonnaise here. And this one I think is, yeah, super easy. So, and it's also quite easy to flavor. So if you want a little bit of garlic in your mayonnaise, we're going to throw, I'll tell you when to throw that one in as well. And also if you like a bit of mustard, then it's fantastic. All right, so I've actually weighed out 300 grams. I've used grapeseed oil for this. What's quite important when you're making mayonnaise is that you use an oil that doesn't have much flavor. So an olive oil, terrible. Don't ever use the straight olive oil. There are some ones that you can, the olive oils that are really light and have sort of reduced flavor. You can get those, but otherwise I would recommend using a grapeseed sunflower. There's lots of other oils that you can use for this. So I've already weighed that out. So next I'm going to pop in some salt using my little trusty salt pig here from the Mix shop. I love this. Just a little teaspoon of salt, pop that in. And I know that some people don't like all these different flavors or this flavor of the mayonnaise, but when I searched for mayonnaise online, there were, on Cookie Do, sorry, there were approximately, I think, 50 recipes just for mayonnaise. So there's always an option there. Okay, we're going to add 30 grams of white vinegar. There we go. And now this is just going to cook with a simmering basket on top for 3 minutes. It's just going to heat to 100 degrees and just to sort of dissolve that salt within the vinegar. So I'm just going to find a simmering basket.
So this recipe here is the cooked mayonnaise. There are other mayonnaises that doesn't cook throughout the process. This one is especially great as well because it means it'll store for a lot longer in the fridge. So it gives you a bit more shelf life. Depends how fast your family's eating it though. It never lasts long enough for me to worry about that, but especially, you know, through the summer and warmer months, if you're going out to barbecues and things, then it will be great. And also it's, you know, a bit more pasteurized. So if you know, got pregnancy or, you know, those kind of concerns. I've just popped that link in the chat there for you, Amanda. It's the cooked mayo. Husband is a best food snob. Anyone around found something similar tasting? So Rebecca, this cooked mayonnaise is very similar to Best Foods, and I'll tell you a little handy trick what I did when I transitioned away from Best Foods. I kept the Best Foods container and I put the cooked mayonnaise in that same jar. And none of my family noticed. And, you know, a few years in, we're still using the cooked mayo, and my family like to think that they're getting Best Foods. And now I just put in a plain glass jar and nobody's any of the wiser. So love that. You can also use lemon instead of vinegar. You know, mix up your flavors. Use what you have. That's great. I love that. We're getting some laughing emojis in the chat there, Jess.
Yeah, I can imagine. I always tend to make, if we're going to have a coleslaw for tea, or I'll make a cooked mayo before I make a coleslaw, just so then I don't have to wash the bowl out either. So once we finish the mayo, I'm going to finish off the recipe of this actually in this bowl, so I don't have to wash it. So yeah, but adding that a little bit of mustard is definitely a good step as well, just to get a different flavour. So many options.
So many ways. I really like it with a bit of wasabi as well. So I do like a wasabi mayo, which is really nice if you're doing things like salmon or tuna. You know, do your tuna mayo with a bit of wasabi mayo. Beautiful. Yeah, really good.
Bit of pickle juice, Lee. That'll always go down a treat.
Yeah, juice. Yeah, yeah. If anyone knows me, I'm absolutely mad about pickles. I do love good pickle juice. Can use that in your mayo. And I did share in the chat as well that ghee is also a really great substitute if you're wanting to get away from seed oils, if you're considering that. So you can make your own ghee in the Thermomix. There is a ghee recipe in cookie dough. So it's yeah, a great way to get those seed oils out. Yeah, so many adaptations that we can be doing. So yeah, thanks, Jess.
Awesome. Cool, thanks.
Pleasure. I'll just pop you on mute. Now I'm just going to bring up a little flyer for you to see if I can just move some things out of the way. I've got, like I mentioned earlier, I've got run sheets and desktop pages and all sorts happening here. So I'm just going to bring up a little flyer for you, because I know we've got a few people on here this evening who maybe haven't seen a Thermomix in person yet, or haven't had a chance for a demo. It might be the first time you're seeing the Thermomix. So we actually have over 33 functions and modes built into the one appliance. So you might be thinking about the things that could be replacing, now seeing that. And the best way to see some of those things is to reach out to your consultant. And if you don't have a consultant yet, just flick an email through on the registration link and I can help put you in touch with somebody local to you, or we can do something virtually as well with the team. So it's a great way to see more things that you might be interested in. If you own a Thermomix, what's your most favorite functional mode? What are you using lots? And then the other side of that, what have you never tried? I'm really curious to get a bit of a poll going. What's your favorite mode? And then what's the one that you've never used? I often hear from people that, you know, they've never done sous vide or they've never done some fermenting. So yeah, really curious to see, because it gives us great ideas about how we can be helping you to get the most from your Thermomix, and maybe virtual classes that we can be offering in the future so that you can get the very most from it. You know, our team are really passionate about making sure that you've got the confidence to try all the things. So yeah, share with us. Kneading, egg boiler mode, kneading, sous vide is a favorite. Need to try the kettle. Sarah, do you know I haven't owned a kettle for about 2 years? I use the Thermomix to boil all my water. Especially great if you're a tea drinker too, because you can set it to 75 degrees. So you get that optimum temperature for not over steeping your tea and getting the tannins. So yeah, give it a go. Oh, and the other side of that, Helen saying that kettle's the most used and that she's never fermented. So yeah, interesting. Yeah. Sous vide. Yeah, sous vide. We often hear sous vide is one that people don't use. So yeah, we might need to do a sous vide class coming up. Who'd be keen for a sous vide virtual class? Something we haven't done before. Sarah saying, me, love it. Don't know if the team can all see the chat box. I'm sharing that. And also in the recording, you can't see the chat. So it's good to share. Fantastic. So while the last few things are coming together, we're going to whiz over to Brodie. How are you doing with your cook time there, Brodie? Is it finished?
Yep, we're ready to go.
Fantastic. I'll bring you back up.
That's good. Right, next on my list is I'm putting a lemon cut into wedges thinly sliced. So I've already pre-done that. But what I found with this reading recipe, it doesn't really matter with it because it's all just going in and it's just being steeped in your liquid. So just chopping it up pretty much and getting it in there. I'm actually also using a lime because again, I only had one lemon. So I'm using a lime. So it's going to be a lemon lime morning elixir for me today.
Delicious. You're very lucky to have limes, Brodie. Have you got a lime tree at your house?
My tree has only just started. All the lemons and limes are just coming ready now. But my lime is the one that's got the most ready on it, and my lemon tree is. I had one. That was my only one that I had ready.
Oh, I love it. It's so good.
Next on my list is adding some ginger. So that's for an ounce of ginger, and that's just sliced up and chucking that in. And then the next ingredient is honey. For the keto diet, I know honey is something that we avoid. So with this one, you can just replace it to whatever sweetener you would like. In my recipe, I'm just leaving it out altogether. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Next is apple cider vinegar. So I'm putting a couple of teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. And your palate
changes, hey Brodie. Like I was just thinking then, like saying you're leaving a sugar substitute out. Your palate does change as you start reducing the sugars from your diet. No, Sue's nodding. She follows a very low sugar, no sugar philosophy as well. Your palate, yeah, does change. So don't be afraid to no sugars or sweeteners.
Yeah. I'm just adding a pinch of a black pepper, which I found out today. The reason you put black pepper with turmeric quite often is because turmeric has an active ingredient called curcumin in it, and black pepper helps your body to absorb that ingredient. Something that I learned today, which is quite cool. Next, I'm putting my lid back on, my measuring cup, and we're just putting it on to give it a bit of a blend together. Then after that, I will be letting it steep for 30 minutes. But I actually already prepared a lot before that. So all you do is drain it, use a sieve and drain it out. And then you end up with this right here. It's quite cool.
Fantastic. Your guts are going to be very happy, Brodie. Getting all that goodness in.
Very happy.
Love it. And I saw in the tips that you could have this warm or cold as well. So yeah. What will you do? You'll drink it cold or warm?
I'm definitely a warm person. I love a good warm drink. That's something else in my tips was about the lid. Sometimes the turmeric can stain your lid a bit yellow. All you need to do is just leave it out in that morning sun and it will fade that colour back down again.
Yeah, fantastic tip. Thank you. Top job. Well, you enjoy that. It's definitely one to go on my list. Yes, sounds delicious. I love anything with turmeric. If you can't easily find turmeric that's fresh, a lot of the Asian supermarket type stores, they do sell it in vacuum seal bags in the freezer section. I just recently went off and got some for the curry for our Asian cooking class here in Wellington last week, and I've got an abundance of turmeric in my freezer. So if you do get it, freezer's great. So top tip for me. Love it. So good for you. And it's great to know about the pepper. We've got a few things in the chat box around the honey alternatives, using the sugar-free maple syrup instead of honey. And then Alicia's also shared that Low Carb Haven, who I mentioned earlier, also do a sugar-free flavoured honey substitute. So if you wanted that specific honey flavouring, then that's an option there as well. So yeah, love it. Fantastic. Thanks, Brodie. I'm just going to check where Jess is at. Jess, are you ready for us to come back to you at all?
Yes, I am, because my cauliflower's cooked, my eggs are cooked, and my mayonnaise is done. I'm actually just scooping it out into my pre-prepared jar. So here's a top tip: always use your lid when you're having to transfer anything to a jar. It just means that you're going to keep it nice and clean. So here's that beautiful cooked mayo. I'm trying not to spill it all. So I'm just going to scrape that down in here, and then I'm just going to finish off that potato salad. Lee, are you guys ready for that now?
Yes, please.
Okay, beautiful. I'll just push the rest of this in here. So I'm not going to clean the bowl, and I'm going to leave my version of, I think it's 60 grams of mayo that I need to have in there. So it's about that. I love that about that cooking. All right, so just finish this recipe, then I'll go to my recently cooked. And what will happen is it's going to come up with my no potato salad, and it's actually paused the recipe exactly where I left it. So we can resume, and that's posy. And I'm just going to click and through. And what you'll actually see is I have my eggs, which I've run under cold water and then I've peeled. And these are just perfect. Look how perfect they are. That's the hard-boiled eggs that cooked underneath the cauliflower. And what I've also done is pre-chopped a bunch of radishes, 3 stalks of celery, and also some, what is that, spring onion. All right, so I've pre-chopped all those ones. So I'll just grab, it says to rinse and dry your mixing bowl, but of course I'm going to use the stuff that I've got in there. Okay, so we're going to pop in an onion, 80 grams of red onion. Then we're going to put in 250 grams of pickled cucumbers, dill pickled cucumbers. So I didn't quite have enough, so I've just got some basic pickles in there as well. So just pop all those in. This is, I think, what gives it such a great taste. And I'm not a huge pickle fan, sorry, Lee, but I do just love this recipe because of the sort of the tanginess that it has to it. All right, so we're going to pop on the lid now. I'll show you. Speed 5 for 3 seconds. Cauliflower is cold. All right, so the mayonnaise is already in there. So what you'll see is it's all chopped up beautifully. Okay, and it is quite a wet liquid. So what I would recommend is when you do chop up your celery and your radishes, if you're using your new chopper function or the cutter, please don't use the too thin a slice, especially for the celery, because it will go a bit mushy. Okay, so use the thicker slice for that one. So there's my top tip there. Right, a bit of sour cream.
Yes, you mentioned the cutter. I'll do a little plug there. The cutter will be available to purchase online at 1 o'clock on the 30th of May. So set your alarms, folks. If you've had your eye on that and you didn't already get it with your Thermomix purchase or through Host Rewards, then it will be available. It is while stocks last, and they are coming in batches out from Europe. As you can imagine, we have hundreds of thousands of Thermomix owners around the globe, and lots of people want to get that cutter. So if you too want to get it, set your alarm and jump on. And if you do miss out on that first drop, we will have more drops coming as well. So reach out to your consultant, let them know that you're keen for the details for the next delivery. They're coming out from Europe.
Awesome. Right, so we're just going to add in, I've added in 60 grams of sour cream. And then we're going to add in a couple of teaspoons of mustard. Now, I don't actually have normal mustard. I've just got some whole grain, so I'm just going to add that in as well. I do often have mustard powder because I find it keeps longer. Well, the mustard does keep for quite a long time, but having the powder does allow me to add it to different things as well, and it's really easy to make up just with a bit of water to get a mustard. And I'm not going to pop the capers in because I don't like capers. So yeah, it's just easy like that. And then some lemon juice. So like Lee's top tip, when I made the mayonnaise, you pop your lid on and then you just pour the oil in the top as it's blending up the eggs, and then it is beautiful for the emulsion. And for when we do anything with lemons, I'm just going to squeeze the lemon into the top, and that will stop any pips going through. So a really easy way to do it. I love a good lemony flavour. I like that tang, so I'm going to put definitely at least 3 teaspoons. Here we go. Done. All right, so we're going to mix that one up. And then for 5 seconds, and it's actually going on the reverse mode, so it's not chopping it now, it's just reverse mode on a speed of 2. And it's just a gentle mix there. All right, so to be quite frank, it looks awful, but the taste is delicious. And the colours in this salad, I think, are beautiful when they all come together. So I did also forget to say that this is actually dinner for you tomorrow night, Mum. This will be coming with Sarah and Hamish down the street because I'm out for the day. So I've pre-made part of your dinner as well, which is easy. So
Job, Jess.
Yeah, trying to win brownie points, you know. It's always good when you send people around with a dinner.
Yeah,
Okay.
your mum put it in the chat box. Woohoo!
And so now I'm just going to gently mix this. I'm not adding the eggs just yet because I don't want them to all break down and break through the salad. But I'll just give it a gentle mix through. And the colours of this salad are really beautiful. It's actually a really lovely Christmassy looking salad as well. And so it's definitely a favourite in our house. I just love it. So this is what she's looking like. How good does that look? And really, I promise you, when you are eating it, you do not notice that there's actually no proper potatoes in it. It's just, yeah, it's so yummy. Such a yummy, yummy salad. And the best thing is that I've put it in this beautiful bowl from a mix shop, which has a lid. So it's going to go in the fridge all ready for tomorrow.
Love it. I know this salad well. When the low carb collection came out, it was actually the very first recipe I made from that cookbook, which phenomenal. It's a great one. I love it. And you're right about that potato. It really tricks the mind. Like you do think it's a potato salad. You don't even notice.
Yeah. Delicious.
Yeah, fantastic. So the carb count on this one, for anyone who is interested, it is on the higher side, so it's 13 grams per serving. I'm just trying to, do you remember how many servings off the top of your head this recipe was? I don't.
So there's 4 servings in this one.
Yeah, so it's quite generous. So
yeah, this is a 4.5 litre bowl, so they're huge servings. I think that you can probably actually get like 6 to 8 servings, to be quite honest, out of that one. So it'd be way less carbs.
Yeah, and you could also reduce the carbs, you know, take out the celery, things like that. So you could play around with it to make it a little bit less of a higher carb count. So yeah, be mindful of that.
Yeah, it does have about 11 grams of protein in it as well, though, so it's quite good on the protein level.
Yes, and that's important. Keep you fuller for longer.
Yeah,
fantastic. Thanks. Yes. Julia's your keto lemon curd must be finished by now because it was only a 4-minute cook. How's that looking?
Oh, so it looks absolutely beautiful. It's nice and thick. Oh, nice and thick.
Oh yeah.
It tastes delicious, and it actually fits pretty much perfectly in one of the Thermomix yogurt jars.
Fantastic.
And I use the jam because the lid's a bit wide for the Thermomix yogurt jars there, so I use the jam funnel, which fits perfectly on top to get that instead.
And that's in our mix shop too. I'll pop the mix shop link into the chat box. For anyone who doesn't know, we have a mix shop which is dedicated to some things are Thermomix specific, and then other things are just more general kitchen appliances. I'm just going to whiz back over here to where are we? I'm just going to replace the spotlight and just mute Julia. There you go, Julia. Because here you're chatting with family, they all come sniffing for the for the goodies. Whenever I'm cooking on a live, I've usually got kids or husbands, waiting patiently at the door to see what it is, like most things. So yeah, it's been great to be able to show you lots of variety and lots of different modes. Pop in the chat box, what modes and functions have you noticed tonight? What have you seen, from the pizzas to all the recipes that we've covered so far? Let's see how many modes and functions we can get from those 33 on this one live tonight. And I'm just going to bring up the Mix Shop link, and I'll pop that in the chat box. So do check it out. Anytime you go shopping in the Mix Shop, pop your consultant's name down as well, because they'll receive a little commission on those sales, and they will be very grateful for that purchase. And hopefully they'll reach out to you, thank you for your order, see if you need any inspiration or ideas for using that particular item. We love seeing what you're up to. So much. If you're into bread making, or you want to be doing all sorts, loads of different things in there. The rose gold bakeware, really popular. Cynthia had that for her bread roll. She might show that to us shortly. So while you're popping in all the modes there in the chat, I've popped the Mix Shop link in there. And one of the really cool things about being a consultant is we actually get a discount in the Mix Shop too. So if you are somebody who loves to go shopping there, you find that you're racking up the orders throughout the year, then being a consultant might be something for you to consider as well. And we also have some other really fabulous promotions on. Cynthia did mention at the top of the hour that if you were to purchase a Thermomix right now, you'd get that Cobalt mini vac as a free gift, just while stocks last, or until the next Monday at midnight. So I just bring up a little flyer if you're a visual person and like to see the details there. So the little Cobalt mini vac valued at $299. So reach out to your consultant and let them know that you're keen to get one of those with your order in time. So that's there on the screen. I'm just going to bring up Cookie Dough super quick. Just going to spend a couple of minutes in Cookie Dough and show you where you can find some really great inspiration and ideas for keto and something to do with your filters there. So I'll just bring up my screen. Who's there? Who can I see? Amanda, can you give me a thumbs up? Can you see Cookie Dough on your end? Just a thumb with your hand is good. No, you can't see Cookie Dough. No. Cynthia, can you see Cookie Dough on your screen? Oh, I've lost Cynthia now.
Haley, you're on the
Mix Shop.
Mix Shop.
On the Mix Shop. Oh, okay, fantastic. There we go. What about now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, team. Like I said, permission to be clunky tonight. I've got so many windows and tabs open, but like my brain sometimes, what's that meme? All the tabs are open and the music's playing and I can't figure out where I am. So it's good. I found it there. So if you are wanting to find some ideas and inspiration for keto and low carb, there's a few ways that you can do that. Now, in your main homepage for Cookie Dough, you can just come over to your search bar here and literally just type in keto and enter. And you'll see here, I'm looking for English recipes. It's given me 496 results here. One thing I highly recommend is come over to your filters and just check what your defaults are, because when you buy a Thermomix, the default setting is Australia. So it's only going to be looking in Australia. It's not going to be looking worldwide. So you could be limiting, the encatchment for those recipes. A really great place to find more keto based recipes is the UK and the USA collection. So come down here, check your countries. If you're fortunate enough to have another language, you could absolutely tick into the other languages as well. Or you could also use Google Translate on a desktop. So that's a great way to be finding more recipes. So yeah, just check off your countries. We've also got things in here like the search function. I just want to come out and clear that keto search. Coming over to my filters here, you could put in a particular recipe that you're looking for. You might be looking for a soup, And then come on down, you could have some particular ingredients, so maybe some chicken breasts or, you know, some fish, whatever your protein is of choice that you're basing your meal around, or not if you're not having a protein. But you can also use tags in here. So you can put keto in as a tag, so ketogenic diet. You can also put in low carb. That's another great way to be searching on recipes, and any recipes that have those tags are then going to come up when you're searching. So that's a great way to find them. And what you can also do over here, rather than looking for a recipe, so just one thing, click the little drop down here and go into your collections. And here you can go into keto. And you'll see there's a few keto collections that come up, and also the same with low carb. So a few more around the globe that you can find. So a few more other low carb. Not all of them will be in English. Currently, you can't look for collections under language preferences, but you can just click into them and see. And some of them are quite obvious, you know, in another language, but there's a few there. And this one here is our latest low carb collection that has come out. I mentioned that earlier. Absolutely phenomenal. And this is available as a hardcover book in the Mix shop. And it has some really great information around the macro nutrients and net carbs. It has a bit of a deep dive in the first few pages of the book, which you're not going to get in the digital copy of you know, the recipe collection. And it actually has more recipes than the cookie dough. I haven't got the book handy with me, but I know it's definitely a lot more than 49 recipes. So you'll find the recipes in here. They are star rated, so you can see, you know, out of a rating of 5, what people are finding with those particular recipes. You can see the time for the cook. You can see how many people have rated as well. So yeah, some of these recipes are super popular. These Kevs, I've made these lots and lots. Highly recommend those. Great beautiful recipe. It's got a herby garlic butter in the middle, and it has a beautiful almond meal coating on the chicken. So you can find all sorts in here. You know, there's the no potato salad, Tex-Mex chicken soup. Highly recommend that one as well. So yeah, have a look through the collections as well as looking for recipes. And then the other thing that you can also be doing is searching in the recipe community. So if you're not aware, we have the recipecommunity.com.au, and this is a space where anybody can be sharing keto or low carb, or any recipes for that matter. If you're not following a specific keto or low carb diet, then recipes can be added into here, and you can import those into your cookie dough. So we did have a cookie dough session earlier this week. Reach out to your consultant if you missed it and you'd like to know more about that. But basically, you find a recipe, you can type in here keto. There's lots on here. I know that there's Alicia's put a few keto recipes in, so you can come over here, find something that you like the look of. Again, things are star rated. You can see how many people have rated. You can see all sorts. I'll just click into this keto cheesecake. Somebody's created that recipe. You can see the recipe in full. You can see all the ingredients, the process, any tips for it as well. And then there's a little button here that you can say add to cookie dough, and then that will import it over to your cookie dough, and then you'll have the ability to then edit it and cook it step by step using your Thermomix as well. So it's just another layer of finding more inspiration and ideas to support that. It will break down, if they've already done the recipes and the steps, it will break it down. Otherwise, you can do that using the editing pencils in there. But the best way to learn more about you know, importing recipes and adapting recipes is to reach out to your consultant, have a little session with them, and have a deep dive together. So it's a great way to do that. Yeah, if there's any questions around the cookie dough or importing recipes while you're here now, pop them in the chat box and we'll try our best to answer those for you. You can also then use your recipes. So if you found something that you want to be cooking, oh, I just made this one tonight for my family. It was a new recipe. If you find something, you can put it into some collections. So you can create your own little collections here. I actually do have a keto folder. Like I mentioned, my husband's done keto, bit of a lazy keto. So these are some of the things that he goes to. If anyone would like that collection, just flick me an email on the registration link and I'll send you this little collection of recipes. You can do things like your fat bombs. You can be doing, you know, your cheddar biscuits, breads, so many things that you can be doing to support that. Or the baked artichoke dip, highly recommend that one. And then with your recipes, you can click into your recipe and you can add that into your shopping list. And you can also add them into your week. So you can do a bit of meal planning and shopping, and it will connect to Countdown online. So it's a great way to, you know, be a bit smarter with your ingredients, bit of cost savings, which is always good, because some of those specialty things can be quite pricey if you're buying, you know, low carb breads, things like that. You can make it yourself using your Thermomix. So I hope that's helpful with cookie dough, just kind of where to find those things. I'll just stop screen sharing and see if we've got any questions coming up in the box. They're delicious. Oh, Alicia's got some great tips here. Yeah, using the fresh herbs, definitely, with the kebs. So yeah, hopefully that's been of service and helpful for you guys all tonight. We'll whiz around the kitchens, have a little look. I think Sue's probably got her Flammkuchens all out from under the grill, ready to serve. Julia and Jess has just disappeared. I'll just bring everybody up on the screen and add the spotlights there. But thank you for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope that you've left with some inspiration tonight and can see what is possible with having a Thermomix in your kitchen. Just bring up everybody there. And Cynthia, how's your roll, Cynthia? Oh,
They look great.
I think I've got the wrong. Cynthia's got two devices. I put the other one on. Hang on. I've got to put your add to spotlight. There we go. There she is. Oh yeah, they look good.
Yeah, yeah. It came out really lovely. And the one that you said to put in a splodge, can hardly tell that it was put in a splodge compared to the other one.
Save yourself some rolling time. Just splodge them on. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. So yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. I hope you're inspired. If you make some of these recipes, let us know. Send us a photo, pop it on your socials, tag your consultants. We love seeing what you're making. And if there's anything that you especially want to learn more about, reach out to us. We're here to help. So thanks for joining us tonight. Well done, team. Looks phenomenal. Julia's got her little biscuits there, her shortbread. Sue's got her Flammkuchens, pizzas. Jess has got her mayo and no potato salad. And Brody's got his beautiful elixir for good gut health healing. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Nighty pops.